Hello, me again, Ray, with another podcast episode. This week all about car boot sales. Now I think in America they're called yard sales or garage sales. Whatever they're called, it's where people take a load of junk, bits and pieces for sale. With a boot sale, it's normally held in a field or a huge car park or a piece of land somewhere. And people, what they do is park their car, set up normally a wallpaper type pasting table or some sort of table, get all the junk, items for sale out of the car and set it out on the table. Then people wander around buying bits and pieces. I laughingly say junk because honestly some of it isn't even fit for the tip, let alone to be sold. But anyway, it's all good fun and people do make good money out of it. You get regulars going every week. In the summer, we normally go along to a local one here, and we've bought all sorts of really good bits and pieces, good bargains. But there is a lot of junk, and whether people sell it or not, I don't know. I bought a reel of parcel tape for 20 pence, a brand new reel, and they're £2 a roll or something. This was the decent stuff, a big roll of it. So 20p can't go wrong. I used to sell only a few times. I used to set my own table up and sell a few bits and pieces. I remember one chap, he came over to me. I had a CB radio that he had his eye on. I wanted £15 for it. I thought that was fair enough. It was in new condition, even though it was, from the 70s. I thought £15 was a fair price. It had its microphone with it and some leads and bits and pieces. And he was looking at it and he said, "Would you take £5 for that?" And I said, "No, not 5, it's up at 15. I thought, £5, that's a bit of a cheek, really. Perhaps offer me 10. Anyway, while he was sort of looking at it and wondering and rubbing his chin, this chap next to him, he picked it up and had a look at it. He said, 15, was it? And handed me £15 and walked off. Now this chap's left there. He said, "I wanted to buy that." I said, "Well, you weren't quick enough." I said, "You should have paid 15 for it." He said, "I would have paid 10. I said, "Yeah, well, he's just paid 15. Anyway, he wandered off. He was depressed. But it's strange, though, how people are. It's a great place, a car boot sale or yard sale. It's a great place for people watching and to see how they behave. And I don't know, it's weird. People are strange. This other chap, he came over to me at one of my other sales. I didn't do that many, but he came over and he said, before he's even started or looked at anything, he said, "I never pay the full price for anything." So I said, "Oh, okay, fine." Then he said, "I'm a millionaire." I'm a billionaire. He didn't look like a millionaire. I don't know. What does one look like? I don't know any. Anyway, I said, "Oh, jolly good, well done." And then he picked up a bread making machine. Now, it worked all right. It was in clean condition. It's just that we didn't use it anymore. I wanted £15 for it. I thought that was fair, £15. Just to get rid of it. It was that or take it up the tip, really, which would have been a shame. So he said, "How much is that?" So bearing in mind that he said he never pays the full price, I said, "Oh, it's £25. "Oh, no, I'll give you 20. And he did. He gave me a £20 note. Had he not been stupid and opened his mouth about never paying the full price, he could have had it for £15. He paid £5 more than I wanted for it. And I had to laugh as he went off. As I say, boot sales, they can be good fun. I was wandering around a boot sale, having a look at things, and I saw a power supply. I'm into electronics, that sort of thing. And it was a lab pack bench power supply, which looked really nice, a nice bit of kit. I don't know what it was worth. I would have paid probably £30 or £40 for it. I hadn't said anything to the chap. I was just looking at it. It was on the ground on a big sheet. They put down tarpaulins and stuff for the heavier bits and pieces, or if they're spreading out clothes. And I was looking at it, and he said, "That's a power supply." So, well, it says on it it's a power supply. I just said, "Oh, right, yeah." And he said, £4 if you want it. £4? So I didn't look too excited. I said, "Oh, £4. He said, "It's got a problem with it." Well, that's all right. It's not a problem to me. I could repair that. All it turned out to be was the rectifier, which I replaced. It took 5 minutes. Anyway, I said, "Okay, £4. Now, why didn't he say 5? Why did he say £5 or 10? Why for? I suppose it didn't work. I don't know, he didn't want to take it home. He wanted to sell it. He saw I was interested. I don't know. But I got it for £4. And that was, 10 years ago? I still use it to this very day. There was another chap. I was looking at a large coffee table, a sort of Indian type thing. I can't describe it. It doesn't matter. This big coffee table. I was looking at it with my wife, and it was too big for us. He said to me, you can have that for 20. He said, it's the end of the day. He had it up, I think, for 40. And I said, no, look, it's too big. It really is too big for us. So he said, well, I'll tell you what, £10. Bargain. I don't want to take it home. It's a bargain. Take it for £10. And I said, it really is too big. We'd have nowhere to put it. He looked a bit disappointed. He was looking at me and looking at the table. And he said, well, do you want it for nothing? For nothing? So my wife said, well, we'll have it for nothing. I said, well, okay, yeah. Because I thought, well, we could sell it. Even if we had no room for it, we could sell it. I mean, we could have fitted it in the lounge, but that's where we wanted a coffee table. But it was really too big for us. Anyway, we wandered off with it, and we were both carrying it, one on each end. And as we walked back to the car, we just about got to the car, and this chap walked towards us, and he said, wow, that is really nice. How much did you pay for it? So before I answered, he was saying, that's exactly what I want. I'll give you double whatever you paid for it. I looked at my wife, she looked at me, and before I had a chance to say anything, she said, we paid 20. He said, right, 40 it is. And he got out two £20 notes. And that was it. He paid us and he went off with the table. We made £40 profit. I did feel guilty, I must admit. But it was perfectly legal. We sold him a table. That was fine. Well, we did lie. We said we paid 20, but it's a white lie, isn't it? Don't get me wrong. That didn't happen every time we went to a boot sale, making profits and doing deals like that. There was just a couple of times these things happened. Sometimes it's quite surprising. I saw a pond liner, these sort of fiberglass pond liners, and we wanted a garden pond for frogs and things, and my wife pointed it out. She said, look at that, look, that's just what we want. Now, I knew that they weren't cheap. I thought it was going to be 40 or 50 pounds. It was second hand, but it was in excellent condition, and I had seen them around boot sales before, and they were usually 40 or 50 pounds. Anyway, I said to the chap, how much is that? 10 to you, Gov. Oh, Gov, 10 to you, Gov. I said 10 it is, and paid him. And we've still got that in the garden now, that liner. It's really nice. So you can pick up bargains. I know some people, they'll buy a painting for 50p, and they'll go to a dealer or something and find out it's worth like 50,000. But I mean, these people know what they're doing. You hear on the telly, don't you, these programmes, someone's bought an ornament from a boot sale for £1, and they find it's worth perhaps £600, but they know what they're looking for. I don't. If I look at an ornament, I think, well, I wouldn't want that for nothing. I'd chuck it in the bin. Whereas someone else would say, don't you realise that's worth £10,000? No, I don't. I haven't got a clue. I bumped into a friend of mine at a boot sale, and he was carrying a radio, a lovely vintage Bakelite radio. And he said, look what I just picked up. He said, 10 quid I got that for. Now, they're worth a lot more than that. £40, something like that, is a really nice one, at least £40. And I was saying, oh, wow, that's a bargain. And he said to me, you have it for 20, which I did. I paid him. He was honest. He said he paid 10. I bought it from him for 20. That's the way it goes, isn't it? That's how it all works. I remember one week I had my table set up, and this lady came over and she looked at this table lamp. Now, it was one that we'd had for years. It worked all right. It was nice condition. And she said, that would fit perfectly in my dining room. I've got just the place for that table lamp. And I thought, oh, good, we've got a sale here. And I was thinking, I'll probably say a fiver, and she might say, well, we'll give you 3. She didn't ask how much it was. She got a £10 note out and said, would you take 10? I said, yes, yeah, of course, thank you. And off she went. She was grinning, she was happy. I was certainly happy. I got £10. So again, isn't that odd? Why not say to me, how much do you want for it? I would have said £5. Well, I would have taken 3. Just shows how psychology and things. People are strange, aren't they? Well, not strange. I don't know what the word is. I don't know. Yeah, strange. Let's stick to that. People are strange. I was just looking at something on one of the tables. This chap came up and he said to the woman behind the table, "How much is that?" And it was an exercise bike. One of these things you sit on it, pedal like mad, and hopefully tone your muscles or lose weight or whatever. And she said, whatever, I don't know, £25, whatever it was. And he said, "Well, it obviously doesn't work." And she said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, looking at you, it doesn't work." She was a large lady. Anyway, I laughed. She was quite a large lady. And I thought, how rude. This chap, she swore at him. She said, "Well, you can..." Anyway, that was quite funny. I mean, it wasn't nice, obviously, but I did think afterwards that most people selling exercise equipment or whatever, they did seem to be rather large. It stuck in my mind. I mean, I'd never say anything, obviously, to anyone like that, but that did stick in my mind. My wife pointed out this table for sale. It was pine, really nice. Not a coffee table, but not a dining room size or kitchen table. The sort of thing you'd have in a pub. The top, instead of being square or a rectangle, it was curved. It had all curved edges and it really looked nice. And there was a ticket on it. It said £40. So I said to her, "It's a bit much." And she said, "Well, yeah, it is really." And the lady said, "Make me an offer." She obviously overheard us. She said, "Make me an offer." So I laughed. I said, "Okay," like they do on the telly. You know, these programmes where, I forget what it is, not Flog It, is it? It's where they go around, I don't know, bargain hunting or something. I said, "Okay, let's be really silly. I'll start the offer off at £10. How about that?" And I laughed. And she said, "Yep, 10, that's fine, thanks." Oh, okay. So we bought it for £10. I don't know whether she just wanted to get rid of it or she didn't get the joke or whatever, but off we went with this lovely pine table for £10. And again, we've still got that to this very day. That was, when did we buy that? Decades ago. So, really pleased with that. A friend of mine once said to me, "What you want to do is wait till they're all packing up, wait till the end of the day, and then go around as they're packing up stuff into their cars and make offers on things." He said that way you'll get stuff really cheap. To be honest, I can't be bothered with that. That's not what I go to boot sales for. I don't want to get stuff really cheap, as he put it. I look out for bargains, obviously. It's more things we want. We bought a beautiful stone or whatever it's made of, bird bath for the garden. Lovely, with kissing squirrels on the upright bit, on the sort of pillar. I forget what we paid, 10 was it, or 15? Really nice. I could have knocked the chap down, perhaps. I don't know. Found one cheaper somewhere else. But it's something we wanted, and £10 or £15, that's fine. That's exactly what we wanted, so we bought it. Ever so heavy. We had to both lug it back to the car. But it was something we both really wanted, and it's been in the garden now for 10, 15 years. And we enjoy watching the birds drinking and having a bath in there every day. It's great. I must just tell you about this microwave oven thing that I saw. We'd recently bought one from a supermarket, £30, brand new, year's guarantee, in the supermarket. It's only a small basic microwave, which is all we needed. And I saw the very same one on this chap's table, and the price on it was £25. And I thought, well, they're only another £5, and you could buy a brand new one with a year's guarantee. I told him, I said, we recently bought one from some supermarket or other for 30. And he said, "Really?" I mean, his was second hand, obviously. It was in lovely condition. But he said, I'll never get 25 for it then, will I? Anyway, he changed the price to 10. Next time I walked past his table, it had gone. Can you hear that rain? Pouring with rain again. We've had so much rain, and the winds here have been absolutely dreadful. Keep me awake all night. Lashing rain and wind. Anyway, I digress. There was one chap I knew, he did boot sales big time, it was almost a business. Talking of that, there were rumours that the Inland Revenue, what is it in America, IRS or something, the tax man, they used to wander around boot sales looking for, not little people that were selling junk from their lofts or garages, but looking for people that were selling week in, week out, new stuff. They're obviously running a business. And apparently the Inland Revenue taxmen used to wander around catching them and making them pay tax or whatever they did. Yeah, this one chap I knew, what he did, he had a small basic amount of stock. and he'd set up his table just with a few bits. He'd get there very early, as a lot of them did, and he'd wander around the boot sale buying stock. Okay, he would buy what he knew would sell, so he had no junk on his table. I remember once I saw him. I said to him, "That's a nice lawnmower you've got there. It was up for 20 quid. I said, "What, you paid 10 for it?" He said, yeah, I bought it this morning. And it was all clean. I don't know whether it had been reconditioned, but someone had cleaned it and put some oil on it, and it was really nice. And of course, the thing is, he didn't have to clean up stuff. He only bought stuff that had been looked after and was obviously saleable. And while we were talking about it, this chap came up and bought it. His wife was doing the selling at that time. This chap came and bought it, 20 quid. He was happy, and he said to me all the stuff on his table was all bought from the boot sale. And he said, very rarely do I go home with more than perhaps half a dozen items left. He sold the whole lot because he knew what would sell. So it's quite interesting that. I thought it was a good system. I went round with him one morning. I went there quite early with him. He bought this sort of dog basket thing. I don't know what it was, some dog thing. And he paid £5 for it. And, he got it back to his stall and he put the price up on it. Everything was priced. No bargaining. That's the price. Buy it or don't. And he put £10 on it. And, while I was there, within 5 minutes, it sold. And he said, I knew that would sell. Dead easy. I knew that would sell. He knew the business, I suppose. Is it a business? I suppose it is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's a business. I think with the advent of online auction sites, mentioning no names, they have changed boot sales a lot. In the old days around the boot sale, there used to be twice the amount of stuff, a lot of good stuff, really good prices. But these days with online auction sites, all the really good stuff goes to them. The boot sales, don't get me wrong, they do have some good stuff, some really, but good bargains and profitable stuff. But I think in the main, a lot of it has gone to the online auction sites. There we are. A seagull. There we are. That's my trademark, or it was. I think the seagulls have been frightened off by this weather. I don't know, they're probably all down the beach. Anyway, there we are. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, all about car boot sales. Perhaps next time you wander around one, you may think of a few things that I've said. Not far now. Where are we? We're February, aren't we? Ours open in May, our big boot sale in a field. It's in a huge farmer's field. There is one, about 7-8 miles away. That's on an old airfield, and it's obviously concrete base, and they're open all year round. But it's quite a distance to go, and in the winter months it's not very pleasant. But they do open all year round. We've got a local one up the road on the green that opens some Saturdays, not every Saturday. Usually take a wander up there in the summer, have a look, see what they've got. I have bought and sold. I've bought stuff from boot sales and sold it online on an auction site, and you can make money that way. But I think if you're going to go into it and run it as a business, you really are going to have to do a lot of buying and selling, because otherwise you're not going to make any money. Anyway, waffling again. Thanks for listening as always. I shall see you next week, next Sunday in fact. Look out for the next episode. Bye bye for now.